Welcome back, Zane here with you, and thank you for joining me today. I've actually just got off the mountain bike after a couple of hours up there and had a lot of fun and feeling really good. But I wanted to just share some thoughts today. I've been doing quite a few videos recently, kind of sounding the alarm bell about why we really got to be conscious now of protecting our economic energy, looking towards hard assets, the likes of gold, silver, Bitcoin, in this very fast changing financial environment. And, I realize a lot of people don't like to talk too much about finance and money. It's something that's very personal for all of us, and I understand that. But the issue is that a lot of people are just ignorant and are totally, I guess, oblivious to what's going on around the world and how it's going to impact our standard of living moving forward. And so, if I can just share some insight and some thoughts about where I think this is going, and certainly what I'm doing, and the fact that there are opportunities for us to protect ourselves from this decaying financial system that is only going to get worse, particularly as we head towards what's known as the Great Reset, where you will own nothing and be happy. We want to make sure that we're protected from central bank digital currencies and everything that goes with that. I mean, we saw in the last few years just how draconian things can get. And if we're not plugged into money that is separated from state and able to protect our financial energy outside the system, then we're really handing over our entire life to the system. And if there's anything I've learned over the last few years, certainly since 2020, that's certainly not a smart thing to be doing. And it really doesn't matter how wealthy you are. In fact, wealthy people now, they're realizing that having a lot of cash in the bank is not a smart move, and so they're buying up real estate, they're parking their money in tangible assets, and there's a good reason for that, because people know that the banking system could be at risk, particularly in the environment that we're in, geopolitical unrest, potential world war, America, which is, I guess, the granddaddy of the free world. It's an election cycle, absolutely divided country at the moment. I think they should be calling it the divided states of America, because it's certainly not united from everything I'm hearing and from what I can see. But the potential there for things to flare up, even there's talk that potentially civil war, and the ripple effect that could have into our country and around the world is something we just need to be paying attention to. And this is why I spend a lot of time studying the financial system. I'm very aware of this growing wealth gap that we're seeing in real time play out in this country and around the world. If you're a parent to young people, you're probably questioning how it is that they're going to be able to live a good, stable life with a degree of prosperity and freedom, and how they're going to be able to own their own home, and all of the things that we've been able to do, and we've been privileged enough to be able to do in this so-called lucky country. But right now the reality is millions and millions of Australians are on the wrong side of the ledger, and so much so many of them are actually leaving the country, realizing that there's no hope here for them to be able to save, to create a degree of prosperity for themselves. And that's a real shame in my mind. But we also have to understand that there are solutions. And, anybody who's saving their money now in Australian dollars is making, I believe, a grave mistake, because each day, each week, each month that goes by, the value of those savings is getting eroded through inflation, through money printing, through government spending. The government just keeps handing out, free money to pensioners and to people in need, which we don't begrudge that, except that where's the money coming from and who has to pay for it? And the reality is that even though people are getting the benefit of that money, they don't realize or put two and two together and realize that whilst that's happening, the prospect of them ever having any kind of standard of living in the future is getting worse and worse, because the value of everybody's savings is just going down. And this is the fundamental issue with fiat currencies. It's why Bitcoin came along. You can't just bail out the institutions now, with governments and central banks getting together and just printing money like they did in 2008. Bitcoin is the antidote to all of that, because it's scarce, fixed supply, a monetary network that people can plug into at any level, at any time. Doesn't matter whether you buy, a fraction of a Bitcoin, 10 Bitcoin, $5 worth, $500,000 worth. You can plug into this monetary network at any time, and it represents a life raft to safety when it comes to protecting your purchasing power, because it's been the best performing asset by far over the last 12 years. Average growth rate has been around 50% compounding annually. So you don't have to be Einstein to work out that if you're putting your money into savings or into assets that are going nowhere, and I would consider anything under 15% as going nowhere, because the 15% is really the hurdle rate, which is inflation plus monetary expansion, that you need your savings or your investments to beat in order for you to be not going backwards. So for you to just keep up with inflation, you have to make sure that your savings, your financial energy, is at least doing, I would say, in the order of 15%, because not just the price increases that we're seeing of eggs and milk and fuel and all of those kinds of things, but also the monetary expansion rate, which is also diluting your purchasing power. So Bitcoin solves all of this. It's something that you own, that you control. It's digital property, it's digital scarcity. It's something I've been involved in for 4 or 5 years now, and I continue to buy, even at these prices, because I know that, in 5 years' time, we're going to look back at these prices and wish that we had have all bought more, because, many believe that Bitcoin's going to be sitting at somewhere around $1.5 million US dollars by 2030, and everything suggests that, if history is any indication, that we're going to be actually well past that by then, because Bitcoin represents something that everyone's going to need, that cannot be stopped, and that very few people still don't quite yet understand. And the reason I say it can't be stopped is because, do you think BlackRock, Fidelity, these financial institutions, big banks in America now, do you think they would actually be getting involved in Bitcoin if they didn't see the future for it? Right now, there's a degree of accumulation going on the Bitcoin network, where these big institutions are absolutely hoarding and buying up as much Bitcoin as they possibly can. But Bitcoin is freedom money. We don't want the institutions to have it all. You and I need to ensure that we have some of it ourselves, so that we're protected moving forward as well. Anyway, that's my rant today. I want to thank you for tuning in. I hope you have a great weekend. Thank you for listening. Please leave a comment down below. I appreciate that. Please like and subscribe. This is Zane signing out. I'll see you really soon. Bye for now.